Hello, everyone. This is Jody, and I'm bringing you the updates from the scheduling committee. Wanted to let you know that the members of the committee include Abby Brophy, David Powelson, Ellen Cook, Eric Scharf, Georgia Roy, Megan McLean, Sarah Richardson, Brian Albee, Margaret Keys, Finn Lowe, Elizabeth Marks, and myself, along with a few other members that joined us throughout the school year. I wanted to look back at some of the schedules that U32 has had in the past. In 1995, there was a 9-period day, starting with TA at 7:40, a 12-minute TA daily, and then the 9 periods, one of which would have been a lunch period for students. Classes let out at 2:19, the bus left at 2:30, as you can see. Later on, there was a trimester schedule that U32 had. There were 3 variations of this that I found, but in all of them, high school students had 6 classes per trimester, and the 7th and 8th grade core looked a little different than it does now. Then we went to the infamous U-Band, where I believe U-Band was a place, a student interest type of piece, and perhaps something that we're trying to bring back a little bit. But each student had 8 classes in the high school at that point. There was middle school core separate, 7th grade in the morning, 8th grade in the afternoon, or vice versa, depending on the semester. But in this schedule, there were each of the 8 high school classes met 3 times a week. And then there was that U-Band, which later moved to Thursday afternoon, which then turned into a drop-in, which we used to kind of add a course every week. So you might drop in class 1, you might drop in class 2, but we dropped in different classes over the weeks of a quarter or semester. So then we move to the schedule that you all have now, or very similar to it. The first blue and white day that we had with callback in it, we had Friday was alternating. And then when we went to early release Wednesdays, we switched the rotating day to the Wednesday, and that's the schedule you all know and, of course, love or don't. As you remember, in February, we collected feedback from faculty, and later, probably March, we collected a little bit of feedback from students. The faculty presentation, we presented several possibilities for options of what a new schedule might look like. And when we received the feedback, which I'll share with you separately in an email today, we learned that the majority of teachers really felt like end of semester reperformance enrichment exhibition is a preferred model over the final exam that we've had throughout the last years. And the next closest or most important, and I'm sorry there's background noise right now, hopefully you can hear me, is the 6-week sessions or seminar option. And it turns out that in the feedback, the written feedback that we got on 6-week sessions, what we realized that people preferred or thought might be nice was the idea of a seminar where a student could really hone in on one performance indicator or proficiency. So that's where we were focused there. So in general, faculty supported the end of semester reperformance enrichment exhibition idea, and the idea of proficiency seminars, not really 6-week. We take that off, but the feedback was definitely around opportunities for seminars that are more targeted than a huge course. So having students have access to those rather than retaking a class. When we asked for feedback from students, admittedly, we did not get much, but the 2 areas where there was the highest preference in students was here the longer callback option, and you can see this one with the 14 students of end of semester reperformance exhibition enrichment. So one area that definitely matched the teachers, although again, we did not get a lot of feedback from students. So this is where we're hoping that teachers can share out the screencast in their callbacks on Monday the 20th, and we can get some real student response to these ideas that we're putting forth today. So let's get to the proposals. The first proposal from the scheduling committee is seminars. These would be opportunities for students to access a quarter-long seminar, hopefully of interest, but also that it meets a need. So it's somewhere where students haven't yet demonstrated proficiency or need another demonstration of it. I'm going to, Brian Albee, forgive me, but I'm going to pick on you a lot and use your name because you're a member of the scheduling committee. So imagine that several students haven't met the sustainability piece. Brian will offer, in this example, Brian offers a sustainability seminar and students are able to demonstrate proficiency in that one standard through that seminar. This year coming up, we have decided that teachers, we the admin team, have assigned either a duty, a lunch duty for a semester, or a 6th assignment, either directed study or support of one of our flexible pathways for a quarter or the equivalent of that time. So we're hoping that by minimizing the obligations that our teachers have outside of direct instruction, they have more time for conferencing, supporting students in one-on-one or small group, and volunteering to pilot a seminar for students. So we're really hopeful that will happen and that there will be opportunities for students to take part in this. This ultimately would require that a teacher use one of their not scheduled bands to teach that seminar for a quarter, and that students who have a free band then would be able to access that seminar and could choose to. Our second proposal is end of year reperformance enrichment exhibition, and this is the one that got the most feedback, positive feedback from both faculty, staff, and students. This proposal aims to shift from the traditional exam period, which people aren't really using it that way. Most exams, if they are still given, are given prior to the exam bands, and students are given the opportunity to reperform or reassess in those bands already. So we're looking to provide opportunities for students to assess, and this would be based on department determination. So one department might decide that each of their teachers is going to offer opportunities in different standards for students to achieve that standard if they haven't met it yet. Other departments might decide that teachers will meet with their own, will give opportunities for students in their own classes to reassess, reperform in specific pieces and content areas or projects, or in the case of like English, where it's product oriented, that students have the opportunity to revise and resubmit their product. Each full-time staff member in the high school, and I have to say that both of these two proposals, proposal 1 and 2, are high school only proposals at this time. Teachers who are full-time high school teachers would offer up to 8 opportunities for students to come in and reassess or reperform or enrich and reach for that 4. Students would have the opportunity to sign up for these. We were thinking of using Enriching Students software for this. And so they would not be required to come in unless they're reperforming and have selected opportunities. The one day where all students, high school students, would be expected to attend would be the Wednesday, the exhibition day that we have set up, where students are presenting throughout the school. And this is an opportunity to present a branching out or pilot project. It's an opportunity to present something that a student has proposed to meet one of their proficiencies that they haven't met yet, and they've developed along in conjunction with the support and feedback of a teacher. And it's a way for students to observe and celebrate the learning of others and provide feedback as well. That feedback is really incredibly useful for students who are continuing on here and need to keep tweaking that work and in order to demonstrate proficiency. And for seniors, it might be the way to demonstrate what they've learned and get that congratulatory, you've made it sort of experience at the end. As you can see, we would have lunches for all the high school at the same time, and we're thinking about ways that we could incorporate sharing the food together and some activities in that. Proposal 3 is around callback norms specifically, and this is for the entire school, but we were looking to restructure callbacks so that teachers would meet with smaller groups of students 3 to 4 times a week, their TA once a week, and that they would also provide a collaborative, a workshop, sorry, a workshop space once a week for quiet study and or collaborative work. It's one or the other, not both, with space for up to 25 students. And that students could request a teacher's callback, but they would no longer be able to self-assign. So teachers would be calling them back based on what the teacher was planning or based on agreements with students' requests. The workshop pieces would either be quiet study, silent work, or very little talking, but definitely working, or a collaborative space where there's talk at a reasonable volume within groups who are working on a project or something collaborative. This is work time, not socialization. This proposal also includes the idea for a larger study for the high school, potentially the cafeteria, which might be supervised by admin or subs of up to 100 students. And for the middle school, the committee put out the proposal of room 128, 131, but it could be a core set of core rooms that have the wall open between them, which is supervised by 2 middle school teachers or an administrator or sub for up to 60 students. So looking at like a study hall scenario that could happen. So this is the norms proposal. Separate from that, there are several different proposals for callback time allocations. And remember, this is based on the student feedback that they wanted more time. And also some discussion within our group about the needs for meeting with students individually or in small groups, conferencing, for example, or the need to have opportunities to provide targeted intervention. And so that you'll see that there are 6 different options for the callback time allocations. Sorry. So let's go. Option 1 is a 90-minute. Classes are 60 minutes long. There are 3 30-minute callback blocks. Someone could be called back for all 90 minutes. They could be called back for a 60-minute and a 30-minute. They could be called back for 3 different 30 minutes. It's our understanding that TA callback could either be in the second callback on Wednesday or the first callback on Monday. We're going to look for feedback on that later if one of the scenarios where the TA callback changes is selected as the most preferred model by faculty, staff, and students when we collect that data. Option 2 is the 60-minute callback option with 2 blocks of 30 minutes. Someone could be booked for a full 60-minute session or 2 separate 30-minute sessions. And Wednesday only has 1 session to accommodate for the early release. Again, TA callbacks could be on Wednesday or the first Monday callback. When you're looking at that, classes are 67 minutes long. Option 3 is a 45-minute callback with a 30-minute TA on Wednesday. And so this one would be specific to the TA being on Wednesday, and that callbacks for the rest of the week are 45 minutes in length, as you can see. And as you can see, so far we've been looking at callback being in the same general location as it has been between Band 3 and Band 4 or White 7 and White 8. Option 4 is our current callback schedule. So we wanted to leave in the option to maintain our current callback. Option 5 is a hybrid model where 2 days a week there's a 30-minute callback. There's no callback on Wednesday, and then there are 2 days, Thursday and Friday, where there's 60 minutes of callback in 2 30-minute sessions. So a teacher could call back a group for the entire 60 minutes, or they could call back 2 different groups in those time frames. I think this model has TA callback on Monday. Yes, it does. And then our final option 6 is a split callback. This one would have 2 30-minute callbacks on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, one of them between Band 1 and Band 2, and one of them between Band 3 and Band 4. And those would be separate sessions. And again, the TA callback would be the first Monday. Oh, there is one on Wednesday, and there's one on Wednesday. So it could be the first callback on Monday, or it could be the Wednesday callback. And those are decisions that we would make later based on the feedback we get on these 6 different options. Thank you very much. We look forward to combing through your feedback.